B&B spoilers. Is Taylor going to get shot? The bold and the beautiful spoilers suggest someone is about to get hurt, and let's just say that there's a very good chance that Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig. That's because sooner or later Sheila Carter, Kimberlin Brown, is going to find out that Taylor has been creeping with her man, Deacon Sharp, Sean Cannon. Is Taylor going to get shot? And when Sheila does find out, you better believe that she's going to do something about it. Some B&B spoilers even suggest that Sheila is going to do what she always does best, and that's pull the trigger on her enemy. She's done it to Steffy Forrester. So who is to say she wouldn't do it again, right? Clearly, the bold and the beautiful fans had a lot to say about where this storyline is potentially going. Some even commented with, Sheila will get revenge and will likely be sneaky about it. She's already venting to Lee that she would kill her. Sheila has definitely been quiet to Deacon that she saw their first flirty interaction at the start of this. Another fan of the show wrote, "Not soapy enough, but I still want Sheila to report Taylor to every ethics board instead of physically assaulting her." What is Sheila going to do next? Taylor's pain would last a lot longer and be more intense if the shrink loses that image of herself as the greatest shrink who ever lived. And then there was this comment as well. This is probably an unpopular opinion, but I wish that Taylor would take her achy, breaky heart and go back to Europe. I really don't care for the character or RB in this role. We couldn't have said it better ourselves. Now, whether or not Sheila will actually pull the trigger on anyone remains to be seen. But seeing how she's done in the past, it's almost certain that she will do it again. Watch this space for more. Of course, B&B fans had a lot to say about where this storyline might be potentially going. The bold and the beautiful airs on the CBS network. Check your local listings for times. The sun-drenched offices of Forrester Creations and the peaceful tranquility of the Cliff House have been shattered by a whisper that has sent the bold and the beautiful fandom into a state of absolute mourning. Could it be true? Is the legendary Dr. Taylor Hayes about to face her most harrowing brush with death yet? As of January 19th, 2026, the soap world is buzzing with a devastating theory. Is Taylor going to get shot? For decades, Taylor has been the heartbeat of the show, the world-renowned psychiatrist who has survived plane crashes, heart failure scares, and the endless, agonizing tug-of-war for Ridge Forrester's heart. But this time, the danger isn't coming from a broken heart or a medical diagnosis. It's coming from a familiar, deadly shadow, Sheila Carter. A love triangle with deadly stakes. The current drama in Los Angeles has taken a turn that no one saw coming. While Taylor, now played with a heartbreaking vulnerability by Rebecca Budig, has spent years pining for Ridge, she has recently found herself drawn to a very unexpected soul, Deacon Sharp. It started as a professional connection, but as Deacon poured his heart out about the walls closing in on his marriage, a spark ignited. Fans have watched with bated breath as the two shared stolen glances at Aiel Giardino and emotionally charged conversations in Taylor's office. But as any B&B veteran knows, nothing in this town is free. The Sheila factor is the ticking time bomb. Sheila Carter, the woman who has quite literally made a career out of terrorizing the Forresters, is Deacon's wife. And Sheila doesn't share. Something is brewing, Hope. And it needs to end before it's too late, Steffy Forrester recently warned. Steffy's intuition is rarely wrong when it comes to her mother's safety. She knows that if Sheila even suspects that Taylor is moving in on her man, the consequences won't be a simple catfight. They will be lethal. The chilling parallel. Will history repeat itself? The reason fans are so terrified of this shot rumor is that we've been here before. Sheila Carter has a long, bloody history with Taylor Hayes. In a twist of dark irony, Sheila has actually shot Taylor in the past. As we look at the spoilers for the week of January 19th to 23rd, 2026, the signs are ominous. Steffy is on high alert. She is desperately trying to keep Taylor away from Deacon, knowing that Sheila's reformed act is nothing but a mask. Sheila is spying. Recent reports suggest Sheila is back to her old tricks, shadowing Deacon, watching his every move and narrowing in on the other woman in his life. The Aiel Giardino wine room, Rumors of Taylor and Deacon getting trapped together suggest a moment of passion that Sheila is almost certain to witness or discover. When Sheila feels betrayed, she doesn't file for divorce. She reaches for a weapon. The very sad news circulating on social media suggests that a confrontation is imminent, and Taylor may find herself looking down the barrel of a gun once again. Why this time feels different. In late 2024, we saw Taylor grapple with a heart failure diagnosis, a storyline that brought Thomas home and united the family in grief. She survived that through a miracle, but can she survive a vengeful Sheila Carter? The stakes have never been higher for the Forrester family. Ridge is currently distracted by his renewed commitment to Brooke, leaving Taylor more isolated than usual. Finn, caught between his love for Steffy and his biological connection to Sheila, is in an impossible position. If his mother pulls the trigger on his mother-in-law, the Finnegan-Forrester marriage may be the next casualty. The fan reaction, grief and outrage. Across Twitter, X, Reddit, and Facebook, the reaction has been one of pure heartbreak. Taylor Hayes is more than just a character. She is an icon of resilience. If they shoot Taylor again, I'm done. She suffered enough, one fan posted. Rebecca Budig has brought such a new life to the role. To lose her now to Sheila would be a travesty, said another. There's a sense of very sad news because Taylor represents the good girl, who always tries to do the right thing, yet constantly ends up in the crosshairs of tragedy. What happens next? As we move into this high-stakes week, every scene feels heavy with dread. Will Deacon be able to protect the woman he's falling for? Or will his desire for a better life with Taylor lead her straight to her grave? If the rumors of Taylor being shot come to fruition, the fallout will be seismic. Ridge's regret. Will he realize too late that he should have been there to protect the mother of his children? Steffy's war. If Taylor is hurt, Steffy will stop at nothing to ensure Sheila spends the rest of her life behind bars, or worse. The Logan/Forrester divide. Even Brooke might find herself devastated, as the rivalry that defined their lives would reach a tragic, permanent end. The Bold and the Beautiful has always been a show about destiny, but right now, Taylor's destiny looks darker than ever. Hold your loved ones close, B&B fans. We may be looking at one of the saddest chapters in the show's history. What happens next? As we move into this high-stakes week, every scene feels heavy with dread. Will Deacon be able to protect the woman he's falling for? Or will his desire for a better life with Taylor lead her straight to her grave? If the rumors of Taylor being shot come to fruition, the fallout will be seismic. Ridge's regret. Will he realize too late that he should have been there to protect the mother of his children? Steffy's war. If Taylor is Bold and the Beautiful has turned chillingly dark, and longtime fans are bracing themselves for what could be one of the most heartbreaking storylines in recent memory. All signs point to danger closing in on Dr. Taylor Hayes, and the question shaking the fandom today is a terrifying one. Is Taylor about to get shot? As ominous clues pile up, emotions run high, and familiar warning signs from past tragedies resurface, it's becoming harder to ignore the sense that something devastating is coming. This isn't just another brush with danger. This feels different. This feels final. And if the worst happens, the fallout could permanently alter the lives of Ridge, Steffy, Thomas, and the entire Forrester family. A dark cloud over Taylor Hayes. Taylor has always been a pillar of strength, compassion, and resilience. She survived heartbreak, loss, and even presumed death before. But lately, there's a heaviness surrounding her, one that fans can't shake. Her recent storylines have been layered with emotional tension, unresolved conflict, and unsettling confrontations that seem to be steering her straight toward a tragic turning point. What makes this especially alarming is how quietly the danger has been building. There's no flashy villain twirling a mustache, no obvious countdown clock. Instead, it's been subtle. Strained conversations, unspoken fears, and simmering hostility that's threatening to boil over. In classic B&B fashion, the show is letting dread creep in slowly, and that's often when the most devastating blows land. The warning signs fans know too well. Longtime viewers know that The Bold and the Beautiful follows certain patterns when it's preparing for a major tragedy. And right now, the show is checking far too many of those boxes. Taylor has been positioned as emotionally vulnerable, yet determined to do what she believes is right. Placed at the center of escalating conflict, particularly involving people with volatile histories, given heartfelt, reflective moments that feel suspiciously like foreshadowing. These are the same narrative breadcrumbs the show has used before life-altering events, accidents, deaths, and yes, shootings. Fans still remember how quickly joy can turn to horror in Los Angeles. A single gunshot echoing through a familiar setting has changed everything before. And now the tension feels just as thick, if not thicker. Enemies, obsessions, and unfinished business. One of the most frightening aspects of the storyline is the number of people whose lives collide with Taylor's in deeply unstable ways. When emotions spiral out of control on B&B, violence is never far behind. Taylor has been entangled in conflicts rooted in romantic rivalry, betrayal and resentment, long-simmering grudges, mental and emotional instability. It only takes one person reaching a breaking point, one moment of desperation or rage, for tragedy to strike. And Taylor, with her history of trying to save others even at her own expense, could very easily put herself in harm's way. What if she confronts the wrong person at the wrong time? What if she steps in to protect someone else? What if she becomes collateral damage in a confrontation that spirals out of control? Those possibilities are becoming harder to dismiss. Ridge Forrester's looming regret. If Taylor is hurt, or worse, the emotional consequences for Ridge Forrester would be unbearable. Ridge has spent years torn between Taylor and Brooke, often taking Taylor's loyalty for granted. If fate intervenes in the most brutal way imaginable, Ridge may be forced to confront the reality of what he's lost far too late. Imagine the guilt, the words left unsaid, the choices that pushed Taylor aside, the realization that she was always there, always steady. A shooting would shatter Ridge in ways even longtime fans haven't seen. And the show has been subtly laying the groundwork for exactly that kind of emotional reckoning. Steffi and Thomas, a family shattered. Perhaps the most devastating impact would be felt by Taylor's children. Steffi, already hardened by years of trauma, would be pushed to the edge. Losing her mother, or nearly losing her, could reignite her fiercest instincts, turning grief into rage and vengeance. Steffi has never been one to forgive easily, and a violent attack on Taylor could change her forever. Thomas, meanwhile, would be plunged into a nightmare. His complicated mental health history makes this especially concerning. A tragedy involving Taylor could destabilize him completely, undoing any progress he's made and pulling him back into darkness. The show has often used Thomas's pain as a catalyst for explosive storylines. If Taylor is shot, the ripple effects through Thomas could be catastrophic, a tragedy that changes everything. If The Bold and the Beautiful does go through with a shooting, it won't just be about shock value. This would be a storyline with long-term consequences, reshaping relationships across the canvas. Possible fallout includes criminal investigations and courtroom drama, shattered alliances and bitter vendettas, families torn apart by blame and guilt, a permanent shift in the balance of power. And let's not forget the emotional weight. A storyline like this would be designed to hurt deeply. It would force every character to confront uncomfortable truths about love, loyalty, and the cost of indecision. Is Taylor being set up as a tragic hero? There's another chilling possibility fans are whispering about. That Taylor isn't just in danger. She may be sacrificing herself in some way. Taylor has always been the one to step in, to de-escalate, to believe she can reach someone others have given up on. What if that compassion puts her directly in the line of fire? Soap operas often frame these moments as tragic heroism. A mother protecting her child, a doctor trying to save a troubled soul, a woman choosing peace, even when violence erupts. If Taylor is shot while trying to stop something worse from happening, the heartbreak would be unbearable, but tragically fitting. Fans are bracing for impact. Across the fandom, the mood is somber. Viewers sense that something terrible is coming, and many are already mourning the possibility of losing Taylor as they know her. Even if she survives, a shooting would leave lasting scars. Physical injuries, emotional trauma, a loss of innocence that can never be reclaimed. And if the unthinkable happens, if Taylor doesn't survive, the bold and the beautiful would enter a new era defined by grief and regret. Hope or false comfort? Of course, soap operas thrive on misdirection. There's always a chance this is a near miss, a terrifying scare meant to remind everyone how fragile life is. Taylor could survive, emerging stronger, or forever changed. But hope feels fragile right now. The tone, the pacing, the emotional emphasis on Taylor's relationships. It all feels like the calm before a storm. Final thoughts. A tragedy waiting to happen? Today's very sad news isn't confirmed by a single gunshot yet, but the warning signs are impossible to ignore. Taylor Hayes stands at the center of a brewing disaster, and whether she's the target or an innocent caught in the crossfire, danger is closing in fast. If Taylor is shot, the bold and the beautiful will deliver one of its most heartbreaking chapters ever, one that fans will be talking about for years. For now, viewers can only watch, worry, and brace themselves. Final thoughts. A tragedy waiting to happen? Today's very sad news isn't confirmed by a single gunshot yet, but the warning signs are impossible to ignore. Taylor Hayes around the bold and the beautiful has turned chillingly quiet, and that silence may be the most terrifying sign of all. Sheila Carter, a woman whose name alone has been synonymous with chaos, bloodshed, obsession, and heartbreak, is once again at the center of a looming storm. But this time it's different. This time, the danger doesn't come from explosive outbursts or dramatic confrontations. It comes from something far more unsettling. Sheila is watching, waiting, and planning. And that's why today's news feels so very sad. For weeks now, Sheila has been strangely subdued. No dramatic entrances. No screaming matches. No immediate threats. Instead, we see her lingering in doorways, staring too long, listening too closely. That eerie calm has fans asking the same haunting question. What is Sheila going to do next? And who will pay the price? A monster or a broken woman? To understand what's coming, we have to look at where Sheila is emotionally right now, and it's a place darker than ever before. Sheila has always justified her actions through love. Love for her son Finn. Love for the family she believes was stolen from her. Love for a life she insists she deserves. But lately, that narrative has begun to crumble. Finn has pulled away again. Steffi remains unmovable. The door Sheila keeps knocking on has not only stayed closed, it's been bolted shut. And that rejection has left Sheila spiraling inward. This isn't the Sheila who storms into Forrester Creations demanding recognition. This is a woman quietly unraveling, clinging to the belief that if she just waits long enough, the universe will hand her another opportunity. That belief is dangerous, because when Sheila feels ignored, she doesn't retreat. She retaliates. The silence before the explosion. Veteran viewers know this pattern all too well. When Sheila goes quiet, tragedy follows. Her silence signals calculation. Every glance, every overheard conversation, every perceived slight is being catalogued in her mind. Sheila doesn't act impulsively anymore. She acts surgically. And that makes today's situation especially heartbreaking, because the people around her have begun to let their guard down. Steffi believes Sheila has been neutralized. Finn wants to believe his biological mother has finally accepted her place on the outside. Deacon, torn between loyalty and self-preservation, convinces himself that Sheila has changed. But she hasn't. She's just learned to hide her intentions better. Finn, the center of Sheila's universe. If there's one thing that hasn't changed, it's Sheila's fixation on Finn. Finn is not just her son in Sheila's mind, he is her redemption story. As long as he exists, Sheila believes she still has a purpose. And the more Finn distances himself, the more desperate Sheila becomes to reclaim her role in his life. That desperation is where the sadness truly sets in. Sheila doesn't see Finn's boundaries as protection. She sees them as cruelty. She interprets his rejection not as a consequence of her actions, but as proof that Steffi has poisoned him against her. And that belief is fueling a dangerous narrative in Sheila's head, one where drastic measures are not only justified, but necessary. If Sheila believes removing obstacles will bring Finn back to her, how far will she go? That question should terrify everyone in Los Angeles. Steffi in the crosshairs again? Let's be honest. No matter how much time passes, Steffi Forrester will always represent everything Sheila wants and can't have. Steffi has Finn's loyalty. Steffi has the family Sheila dreams of. Steffi has the life Sheila feels she deserves. And even when Sheila claims she's moved on, her eyes tell a different story. There's a heaviness in the way Sheila watches Steffi, a mix of resentment, grief, and barely restrained fury. That emotional cocktail has led to devastating consequences before, and today's very sad news is that all the ingredients are back in play. The danger isn't necessarily that Sheila wants Steffi gone. It's that she wants Steffi to feel what she feels, alone, abandoned, powerless, and that opens the door to emotional manipulation, psychological warfare, and calculated revenge rather than outright violence. Sometimes, pain is more effective when it's slow. Deacon, enabler, or victim. Then there's Deacon Sharp, perhaps the most tragic figure in Sheila's orbit. Deacon wants to believe in redemption. He wants to believe that love can save even someone like Sheila, but that hope may be his undoing. Sheila knows Deacon's weaknesses. She knows how to play the role of the misunderstood woman who just needs one person to stand by her. And Deacon, bless his heart, keeps doing exactly that. The sad truth is that Deacon may already be part of Sheila's next move, whether he realizes it or not. Sheila doesn't need him to commit crimes. She just needs him to provide access, information, and plausible deniability. If things go wrong, Deacon could lose everything again. And if things go right, Sheila gets closer to Finn. Either way, Deacon is standing on a very dangerous edge. A new target no one sees coming? What makes this chapter especially chilling is the possibility that Sheila's next move won't involve her usual enemies at all. What if she's learned that going after Steffi directly only leads to more isolation? What if Sheila decides to strike somewhere softer, someone less guarded, more vulnerable, and completely unprepared? A child, a newcomer, an ally of convenience. Sheila has always been at her most lethal when she surprises people. And right now, everyone is so focused on protecting the obvious targets that they may be missing the real danger entirely. The sadness of today's news lies in that uncertainty. No one knows where the blow will land, only that it's coming. Is Sheila losing her grip on reality? Another unsettling possibility is that Sheila herself doesn't fully know what she's going to do next. Her emotional state is fragile. The lines between love, entitlement, and revenge are blurring. Sheila doesn't see herself as a villain. She sees herself as a mother pushed too far. And when someone believes their actions are righteous, they stop listening to reason. That's when mistakes happen. That's when innocent people get hurt. And that's when tragedy becomes inevitable. The tragic cycle that never ends. Perhaps the saddest part of all is that this story feels hauntingly familiar. Sheila gets close. Sheila gets rejected. Sheila feels betrayed. Sheila strikes back. And then, when the damage is done, she mourns the life she claims she was never allowed to have. It's a cycle of pain that keeps repeating, not just for Sheila, but for everyone caught in her path. Viewers don't just fear what Sheila will do next. They mourn the fact that they already know how this usually ends. With regret, with heartbreak, with consequences that can't be undone. So, what is Sheila going to do next? That's the question haunting Bold and the Beautiful today. Will Sheila make a bold move to force her way back into Finn's life? Will she manipulate Deacon into crossing a line he can't come back from? Will she target Steffi in a way no one sees coming? Or will her unraveling finally lead to her own destruction? One thing is painfully clear. Sheila is not finished. And until her story reaches its next devastating chapter, every moment of calm feels like borrowed time. Today's very sad news isn't about what Sheila has done. It's about what she hasn't done yet. Because when Sheila Carter decides it's time to act, the fallout will be emotional, explosive, and impossible regarding to ignore. Sheila today involves a few prominent figures, but the most pressing and emotional updates concern the passing of beloved actress Sheila Bennett and the unfolding high-stakes drama surrounding the character Sheila Carter in the television world. Here is a comprehensive breakdown of the sad news trending today and what comes next for these notable figures. 1. Farewell to a legend. Sheila Bennett, 1931 to 2026. The entertainment world is mourning the loss of Sheila Bennett, the veteran actress and singer who passed away on January 12, 2026, at the age of 94. Tributes have continued to pour in through today, January 19th, as her theatrical family reflects on a career that spanned over 8 decades. Her legacy. Sheila was a staple of British television and theatre, known for her versatility in comedy and variety shows. Her career highlights included Coronation Street, her memorable turn as Sister Delaney in the 1970s, Good Old Days, a long-running stint on the BBC variety show from 1968 to 1983, Hotel Trouble, delighting younger audiences as Mrs. Poshington, 2008 to 2011. What's next? In the coming days, the Royal Variety Charity and her peers are expected to hold memorial services. While she has passed, her final film appearance in the rom-com My Life in Ruins and her vast archive of television work will continue to serve as a testament to her comedic timing and warmth. 2. The soap opera storm. Sheila Carter's next move. For fans of the bold and the beautiful, today's sad news refers to the devastating twists facing the show's most notorious villain-turned-hopeful, Sheila Carter, played by Kimberlin Brown. The current crisis. Sheila is currently reeling from a double blow. After working hard to reform and stabilize her life, her world is being pulled apart. Rejection and betrayal. Despite her efforts to keep her marriage to Deacon Sharp on track, she is facing the sad news of rejection. The Taylor factor. Spoilers for the week of January 19th to 23rd suggest that Taylor Hayes is increasingly becoming a threat to Sheila's stability. Sheila is beginning to suspect that Taylor and Deacon are growing too close for comfort. What is Sheila going to do next? Based on the latest previews, Sheila is at a breaking point. Her next steps are likely to be explosive. The loose cannon unleashed. Steffi Forrester has already begun warning others that Sheila is a loose cannon who could hurt their families if pushed. Confronting Taylor. Sheila is not one to suffer in silence. Expect a high-tension confrontation where Sheila attempts to reclaim her territory. Survival instincts. With her son Finn caught in the middle and his DNA secrets looming, Sheila may resort to her old, dangerous tactics to ensure she doesn't lose everything she has built. 3. Remembering other notable Sheilas. The name Sheila has been at the center of several other somber reports recently. Sheila Heron. The World Boxing Council, WBC, is currently mourning the passing of Sheila Heron, mother of DEA agent and WBC collaborator Rocky Heron. Sheila Woodard. A deeply personal loss was reported in Colorado, where Sheila Woodard, a cherished mother and nurturer at heart, passed away at age 67. Sheila Jackson Lee. While her passing occurred in 2024, her legacy and the sad news of her battle with pancreatic cancer are being revisited today as political figures discuss her lasting impact on civil rights and her sponsorship of the Juneteenth federal holiday.